Hey, everybody. I'm my producer, Tabitha. I don't know if you can see her over here. Hey, Knights of Seven Kingdoms, bottom line. This is episode 5, following up from episode number 4, which was really a phenomenal episode. Here are my thoughts. This is the episode overall is heartbreaking, heart-rendering, but it needed some more things to really be fantastic. Now, I know I might be in the minority out there. Let me explain what I mean. Hey, Norb, with Silver Age, please like and subscribe to this channel. So, guys, bottom line, I'm giving this a silver. I gave the prior episode a gold. And the reason I give this a silver, it does engage the audiences, but I think when Dunk is basically knocked unconscious for a bit, and he goes into his dream state that, by the way, spoilers. Spoilers. He goes in his dream state that takes him back to when he first met the knight he squired for. And when he's in Flea Bottom, and gives a little more background about him, I think that was interesting, maybe a tad too long, and only a tad too long if the rest of this had been longer. I think the episode overall was too short. I think if the episode by itself was longer, with more stuff on the 7-on-7, it could have gone gold to platinum level easily. But to me, it's just a silver. It's just a silver. Still good. Probably it's one of the best Game of Thrones stuff we've seen in a little bit. But last episode was much better. Bottom line, solid silver. So we see basically at the beginning. I'm going to be going quick through these photos. I'm not even going to elaborate too much. But basically, they're getting ready for the 7-on-7, which basically looks like a joust at the beginning. And we find out some more stuff that happens. They kind of have a strategy lining up who they're going to go against. And of course, he's going to go against the accuser, Aragon. And, he throws up and stuff like that, He doesn't know yet how, I think, to really be a knight, even though he wants to be a knight. I think that's kind of obvious in this thing. And then you can see them, we're all taking off, going to attack each other. And Prince Baelor decides he's going to take on one of the guardsmen or something like that. And the guardsmen are not allowed to hurt him. So that's why he's going to do that. So he thinks he's going to be 100% safe. Yeah, well, things happen. And so Sir Duncan, he is knocked off his horse and damn, he gets skewered. This is when he gets knocked unconscious. And he gets back in this dreamline state, back to when he was in Flea Bottom. And he was paired with this girl, probably could have been his wife eventually. She's basically the one that gave him growth and substance and knowledge, challenged him, and made him better. I mean, knowing that was kind of interesting, but we knew kind of from the other episodes he had a loss that got him to be the knight. And then there's a confrontation that happens when they're in Flea Bottom, and they had tried to buy their way out, but they couldn't buy their way out because they had enough coin. And battle happens. He's trying to protect her. Man, doesn't that resonate? Do you think he would learn when he went to try to protect the other girl, the actress girl? Got him in trouble. Well, in this case, it got her killed. Rafe, the girl's name is Rafe. And, so it gives us a little more background into how hurting Duncan was and how emotional is. And he was saved. He was saved by the knight who was there, just drunken at the time, but gets saved. And basically he follows the knight and eventually becomes a squire. So he's laying there after this, he's starting to become conscious again. He's laying there and you can see he's bleeding and all that kind of stuff. And here's one of the things where I have a problem with this episode. Okay, he got hurt. I mean, the key thing is he has, Eragon. But the bottom line is, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the action of what was happening against the others. I mean, yeah, you could tell this was definitely a violent episode and scenes, but let's go the full Game of Thrones stuff. Let's get a little more violent. I mean, rarely do we see a main character die on the screen in battle, but hey, I think this would have made this thing a lot stronger. It would have made this thing, in my mind, a gold or platinum type level. And so he's laying there. He's being egged on by his accuser. And, then he stumbles his way up, gets a sword in Arion screams. And eventually he almost gets to the point almost he could kill him. And you can see his eyes real badly bruised. And he withdraws his accusation. So I just would have liked to have seen some more of the battles that happened. Maybe the initial jousting killed a couple immediately. Maybe that's why they decided not to do that. I don't know, but I would like to have seen a little more battle stuff with some of the others going on when Dunk was unconscious. And, so after this thing's over, he goes, has anyone died? And Beesbury and, Harding have died in their first charges. And that, I guess, is referencing the jousting. And then we have Balin. He's going, hey, I need some good men. Now, you notice this helmet doesn't really fit too well. He had to borrow armor when he was up there. So he didn't have his own helmet. And, his brother banged him in the back of his head. And you can see how the visor's cracked. And he collapses after he took the helmet off. A big part of his skull is crushed open, and unfortunately he dies. And that's the heart-rendering thing about this. So Duncan now has caused more angst, more problems for the people he's loved and have supported him. I mean, we have a couple deaths now. It's just, the episode has power, but it could have been so much more. It should have been a little bit more. Like I said, we saw some more action. We could have saw more commentary from a couple of the other members of his team saying, oh, I know, for Duncan or whatever, or for Glory or whatever. I think that would have brought more substance to this. So, hey, Norb Silverage, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Everybody have a good day and give me your comments. Thanks.